Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to iPunsmart.com, the second edition of the editor's picks for today. And I'd just like to go through some of the editor's picks, but before I do, I just want to show you how the filter functionality works. So I'll be using it on the table tennis, and I pretty much use these filters for my editor's picks quite a lot. So I have quite a few filters that I've created here, and all these filters has their own value, and they're purely very logical driven. So what you can see here is the overall win-draw loss percentage, the head-to-head start, the head-to-head end, the head-to-head net figure, the relative strength index start, relative strength index end, relative strength index net figure, and then the difference between head-to-head and relative strength, the head-to-head minus relative strength index start, the head-to-head minus relative strength index end, head-to-head minus relative strength index net figure, and then the 15 major impact categories, which of these 15, how many of these 15 you want to be populated, and then that would leave you with the net MIC figure. So if you've picked a 10.5, it means you've got a positive, you've got a 4.5 net. Then the relative strength index months index, the value for the months, and the relative strength index win-draw loss percentage only. In other words, not the overall win-draw loss percentage, but also the relative strength index win-draw loss percentage. And you can use these filters as a combination of any of the above. And these figures that you see here is the exact same as the actual points scoring system for the specific sport. Hence, if we are using it for table tennis, then this 1.1 figure you'll see is 1.1 sets average. Or if you see the max would be a 2-set average net. In other words, out of the best of 5 to be 2 sets better by average, 2 or more for any combination of these. So I can use a very simple filter, and I'll show you how this works just purely from simplicity. And any of these 15 can be used in combination, as I've said. So just to show you these 15, here we have the head-to-head start, the head-to-head end, and the head-to-head net figure. Then we have the relative strength index start, relative strength index end, relative strength index net, and then we have the difference between the head-to-head and the relative strength index start, the difference between head-to-head and relative strength index net, the difference between the head-to-head net and the relative strength index net, and then also the win-draw loss percentage that you find here, and the relative strength index percentages that you find here, the months that you find here, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, 5 month, etc., and the net figure that you find here, which is the difference between that and that, in this case 0.11 on the 5 months. Okay, so let's use that and just look back at where we've been for the last few days. I'm going to use a pretty simple one. Let's just reset everything. And this pretty simple one that I'm going to be using is a 1 month table tennis for a 57%. Let's take the MIC figures out of it and just show you how effective these can be. And then you can enhance them by adding some of the spice to get to 100% record, and you can save that as your filter purely by clicking that save and giving a name to it, and then using it tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and that's why I'm ending up with so many, because I'm using them for my editor's picks. So in this simple example I'm using, give me an overall win-draw loss percentage of say 57 or above percent, then give me a relative strength index 1 month figure of a relative strength index value of 2 sets or more, with a relative strength index win-draw loss percentage of 57% or more as well. So note the win-draw loss percentage is 57 and the RSI percentage is 57. Let's just apply that and see how we've gone in the last bit, given exactly that. So now we don't have that many for the day. Out of the total 634, we currently have less than 20. There's 20 on a page. So you can see some of them's already come through. You will see these Nike signs. So that one's one, that one's one, that one's lost, that one's one, that one's lost, that one's one, that was one, that one's lost. And let's just look at that in more detail, because sometimes the changing effect of the 1 month RSI is quicker than the actual overall calculation. So in some of these instances, the filter is actually correct, but our prediction is not agreeing with that filter. So in this first one, you can see what I've asked for is a relative strength index of 57 or above. It's 60%, happy days. And the 1 month index of 57% or above, happy days, with an above 2 sets, which here we have 2.7. So you can see why it's quite an effective one. So that one. Let's go through to the next one. It was above 57, yes, 71%, above 57, yes, 57%, and above 2 sets, yes, 3.25 sets. What a lovely 61% return for that kind of scenario. So yes, that one was correct as well. To the third one, here you see it's a little bit of a difficult one to swallow, because head-to-head the history has been 3-0 for the away team, with an average of 3 to 0.67, and we are looking for 57%. 65% is correct. We are looking for 57 on the RSI. It's 80%. A total of more than 2, it's 2.57. So all of these indicators are showing green home strong, except for the one thing that's a little bit concerning, and that is this gap is closing in. The away team is pretty solid, and the home team is going worse. And you'll see the momentum and the curve doesn't move at the same time. So the curve goes a bit quicker. The momentum is simply a linear regression model, so the momentum will take a bit longer to move down, but the curve goes quicker, and you'll see that he did take a bit of a drop most recently, so it's a bit of a wrong mental state, and that would suggest pretty much the only reason why I could have seen that this one actually lost. So I'm a bit concerned, a bit worried that that one lost. Move over to the next one. Yes, that is a lovely correct figure as well. There's some more coming this afternoon, and these are the different men TT Cup. All of these coming this afternoon. There's the times. This one, men Setka Cup. Yeah, that was a close call, 3-2. And the same applies here. You can see the away form has jumped up most recently, where the curve is quicker than the momentum, and that is maybe the only reason for me to suggest that the away team did get the hang of it over the end. The percentages are not that great. It's just over the 57% mark, so 57 for home, 41 for away. You can take that up to 58%, and of course this will disappear out of the filter. So the choice is completely yours. The other thing that has a bit of a concern for me here is the head-to-head momentum. You'll see it starts up at the top here at 2.61, and it's moving down all the way down to currently it's down here at a 0.95 set advantage, and it's actually gone down to where the extension of the momentum is taking me to today's date. This is not today's date, this is the last occurring date. And going that same trend, it would go down to a 0.69. So less than a set. Quite simply put, I could therefore also change my head-to-head filters so that I can preempt this and try and get rid of these values as well. But all in all, which suggests that the home team was supposed to win. The 1 month RSI is on a 2 set positive with an average of 2.98 to 0.9 and 87% to 28%. So all of this looking like the home team should have won. The away team won the first 2 games. The home team came back and made it 2-all, and then lost the plot at the end. And that happens. All in all, though, the the total outcomes is way better for the filters to be correct than wrong. Another example here that's completely amazes me. No, it actually doesn't amaze me, because the one thing that you can clearly see is the head-to-head start was a -2, which agrees with our overall prediction for the away team, but the head-to-head end finished in the home team winning 3-0. So the net effect from head-to-head start to head-to-head end was a 5-set change for the home team. And that would clearly mean that the home team has sort of got the measure of the away team. As you can see here, they started at a positive, the away team winning by 2, so -2, and end at the home team winning by 3. And that essentially is, as you see, the extension is going up for the home team. The head-to-head form is way better for the home team, even though the RSI looks stronger for the away team here, and the home team being below the line. You can see when they play head-to-head, it does not agree, and the historical performance is 2 games, of which home's won 1 and away has won 1. So that is where this game was boomeranged on us. So you can filter those games out. Further down, I'll show you some examples as well. That was a lovely 2-game advantage, and that's exactly how it ended, 3-1. That's another win. And just to show you some more of these for today, there's a 2.63 with a 78% and a overall 70%. So that looks pretty strong as well. And down at the bottom there's another winner already. So that is how you would be using these filters to get through these selections. You could, for instance, if you don't want those problem games that loses, if we can get back to the one that lost, and that total loss based on the head-to-head form, that you could say in my filter, I want my head-to-head net figure to agree with the rest of my filter, and you would simply now say, okay, let's say the head-to-head net figure must agree and maybe must be to a net figure of a 1.1 net for the same team, and maybe a end figure of at least a 0.6 sets for the head-to-head end for the same team. Now you'll obviously get less games, and in this case you have filtered out a lot of games, but you have still ended up with a team that lost, and you can see the head-to-head change. The net figure is still above 1.5 positive, but where it started, it's actually gone the wrong way down over this 1 month period. If you look at those figures, the actual head-to-head start figure is the 24 months start figure. So if I can take all these other noise out here, you'll see how I get to that head-to-head start figure. The head-to-head start figure is a 0.29, which is exactly where that started, and over the course of the 24 months it's gone up to a positive 1.79, and therefore the difference on the head-to-head net is 1.79 minus 0.29 is a 1.5 advantage for home team, and the relative strength index would put in the difference between the home and the away momentum, which in this case you can see is minus 0.2 for the home and minus 0.55 for away, which is a positive 0.35, and it ends here on a 0.85 for home and a minus 0.46 for away, which is the positive 1.32, which means the home team on the RSI has improved from 24 months ago of 0.35 to most recently 1.32, an improvement of 0.97 in totality. And the head-to-head minus RSI net figure is simply this 1.5 plus this 0.97 divided by 2 equals the 2.46 divided by 2 is 1.23, which is the average of those two. The same effect as the average of these two would be the 1.55, and the head-to-head RSI start would be the average of those two, which is 0.32. So a lot to take in, but maybe watch it a few times. In this specific match as well, you can see that if you move this to just a last couple of months perspective, you'll see the head-to-head bar is maybe slightly tilting over to the other team. And let's just see if that happens. Yes, it is. You can see on the 3 months, the head-to-head started on a 2.01 and it ended here on a 1.05. So therefore, the away team player has, on a head-to-head basis, gone better. That doesn't mean that the RSI is still agreeing to a home win. It just means that the head-to-head, the away team is closing the gap from a head-to-head perspective, and that is why you'll see some of these away wins here. That's why it's closing. So it's a lot to take in on these filters, but that is essentially how we make our editor's picks. So let's get back to our editor's picks today. There's quite a few of them, so let's just move over. You have a game that's just started here, 13:05, and our pick is actually 1-0 behind at the moment, but as you can see, it does look like the red team, the away team, is supposed to win here. So I'm hoping that that will be a comeback after being behind 1-0. As we move down here, there's a lot of these games for table tennis, and you'll see here why I'm picking the away team. Everything's very red here, and further down, all these editors picks down the line for table tennis. Moving down, you'll see there's a couple of hockey games as well. Czech Republic Extraliga at 6:30 tonight. Trinec should be winning this game. As you can see, Trinec is most recently on a 3.91 advantage and a 80% away win, average 0.95 to 4.86. So the graph on the most recent suggests that that is a really good 53% to take on. As you can see that even from the 9 months onwards, the gap has been going bigger and bigger, and the percentages is going better for Trinec as well. From a historical perspective, they've played each other once, and that game was a 3 for home and 6 for away team, so that agrees that Trinec should be winning this game at 6:30 tonight. Rugby Union tonight. This is an interesting game for me, Pro D2, that I have made an editor's pick, not because the rating says it's a draw, but purely because the handicap looks good for the away team Béziers. If you look at the 1 month RSI, they've both played Montauban, and the away team has won 36-9, and the home team played them and won 30-15. So quite some gap here. Sorry, lost 30-15. So 42 points gap for the away team Béziers on that specific example. The home team played Montauban, and the score was 30-15, and that was for Montauban, and the away team played Montauban and beat them 36-9. So 42 points the difference on the 1 month, only that one game, as you can see here. But if you move over to the 2 months here, the average looks like a low scoring game, average of 6.3 to 18.56, with the advantage also being for the away team. If you move over to the 3 month, you'll see there's been 7 games, of which home has won 2, drawn 2, and lost 3, and away team has won 3, drawn 1, lost 3, average score 9.75 to 19.04. So average score in the favor of the away team at 9.29 on the 3 month RSI. So that suggests to me that it should be pretty close. I do agree with you that the home team is the favorite at 1.33, but if you look at the history, the away team has on average won 21.9.5. So that for me is a good handicap for Béziers at worst. You can see that minus 13.77 is the head-to-head RSI end figure, which is currently at minus 13.77, and the 15.58 is the head-to-head RSI net figure, of the 21 on the head-to-head net and 10.76 on the RSI net gives you an average of, 31 divided by 2 is 15.88 on the head-to-head RSI net figure. So it does suggest that Béziers should be way more competitive than what the odds are given, 3.4 for Béziers to win. So at the very least, the 7.5 handicap is maybe coming in play for this rugby union match at 8 o'clock tonight. Then moving down to football tonight, and that's the Italy Serie A game, Sassuolo against Benevento, and the ratings would suggest, even though the home team is taking a bit of a dip on the 1 month, it's still ahead of the away team Benevento, and the average score of 3-0, and the percentages of a 83% chance for home, since they've played 3, won 2, drawn 1. Away has played 3 and lost 3. That 61% is pretty generous, given these kind of ratings. So Sassuolo on the overall is only a 42% chance to win, but that's better than the draw and better than the away. And in totality, the RSI on the 2 months is very, very strong. Even if I look at the RSI on the 10 month, then it has won 50% for the home team, 27% draw, 22% for the away team, and a 2 to 0.53 average. Clearly, if you move that to a 24 month, then the gap is not as big. The little bit of a concern, they haven't played each other yet because they come from different leagues. Benevento came up from Serie B, and that would mean that they haven't played each other in the last 2 years. But the relative strength index does suggest that Sassuolo should have the better of them. If I just look at these very last figures, most recent figures, you'll see on the number 1, Benevento drew against Roma 0-0, and Sassuolo drew against Roma 0-0, and Benevento lost to Roma 5-2. And then on this number 2, Sassuolo beat Verona 2-0, and Benevento lost to Verona 3-1. And then moving along to the third game, Sassuolo beat Napoli 2-0, and Benevento lost to Napoli 2-1. So all of these suggesting that Benevento is not good enough for Sassuolo. So decent odds, 61%. Yeah, that's rugby union, that's a hockey game, that's all table tennis matches. So I hope you do enjoy these filters, guys, and you do enjoy the editor's picks. There has been quite a few today so far already. These are all finished. There has been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins and 1, 2, 3, 4 losses. So not the greatest of 8 out of 12, but hope we can do better than the 75% so far for the day on table tennis. If there's any other things, just make sure you use those same kind of filters also on all the other sports, keeping in mind that the points that you see is actually whatever that specific sports scoring system is. So if it's rugby, it's points. If it's tennis, it's sets, or table tennis, it's sets, whatever that scoring mechanism is. If you've identified your games, you can add them to your watch list by just saying add to watch list, and you'll pop them up here to then be able to fill in your bet slips for those specific games from your watch list. Okay guys, hope that's been helpful, and we will chat again soon. Please leave your comments and your likes and your subscribes on the YouTube channel so that you can be notified for any more of these videos going forward.